lesson, The Fun They Had, written by the famous science fiction writer Isaac Asimov. Let's see about him. Isaac Asimov was born on January 2nd, 1920. He is well known for his science fiction works, and he also worked as a professor of biochemistry at Boston University. He was also well known for his 3 laws of robotics. And Isaac Asimov has edited more than 500 books, and he has also wrote hard science fiction along with his colleagues, and he was considered as one of the best science fiction stories. Even this lesson, The Fun They Had, is also related to a science fiction. It is telling the story of a girl or 2 children, how their life, that is how their school life was to be in the year 2147. So let's get into the story. Before we get into the story, let's see the characters. So the main 2 characters are Tommy, a 13-year-old boy, and Marty, 11-year-old girl. Now the other characters in the story are the county inspector. County inspector is the one who frequently comes and checks the mechanical teacher. So the story which is happening in 2157 had no teacher. Instead of that, a robot was a teacher. But here in this story, it's not given as robot, it's been given as a mechanical teacher. And then we have Marty's mother. So let's see how the story begins. So we can find Marty writing all the events that happened on 17th May 2157 in her diary. So she's starting to write in her diary as, today Tommy found a real book. So it means that they have not seen what a book is, how a book could be. So a real book is what they have seen for the first time. So there are no books in the year 2157, even a century before that, no books are going to be existing. So that is the imagination. And this story, The Fun They Had, was written in 1951. So in 1951 itself, Sir Isaac Asimov, he knew very well how the technology is going to be developed in the after few centuries. So as she started writing, now she is recalling all what happened on that day. So let's see how she is recalling it. So she and Tommy were there. He brought a real book. And at that time only Marty remembers her grandfather saying that this grandfather used to tell stories from old books. And the old books pages were yellow and crinkly. And she remembered like her grandfather saying, my grandfather, that is grandfather's grandfather, used to tell stories from a very old book, and the pages were yellow and crinkly. Crinkly was like a very brushy type. So even though when they were old, he would read the book and then tell the story. So Marty was wondering, how could one read a book and then they have to turn the pages and they have to go through each and every line and read it, and there will be plenty of books like that if they have to read many stories. So then only the Tommy says that really it is a waste of time. I have millions of books on my television. So nowadays in your television we have storage capacities to store millions of books. So you need not even read a book. You have audible books nowadays. So where the book is being just read by itself and you can hear the contents of the book. So we have technology advanced that much. So that is what Tommy is saying. Now you have millions of books. Whenever I need a book, I can just take and start going through it, and the words will be just moving on the screen. Really, it's waste of time and you need to store all the books. So as this was the Tommy's impression on reading books, so really Marty asked example is. So the same way it's a place on the in the western houses you have a small place in the room where they store all the old things. So he told me I was just going through something there, so I found this book over there and I bought it. So then she's asking, what is this book about? It is about schools. Schools, she really got frustrated. How could anyone write about schools? Was her first opinion. How could anyone? Why did she ask this question? Or why did she say this? Because she really hated schools. Margie hated schools and she didn't like it at all. That was the reason behind this is because of her mechanical teacher. Now let's see what's the problem with the mechanical teacher. What happened to say that she hated schools? She often had trouble with the mechanical teacher because she couldn't score good in geography sector. Every time she had to write test upon test, test after test, her marks did not come up very well. So this made her get lots of frustration. And then mother finally called up the county inspector to check if there was any problem with the mechanical teacher. So he came up, she explains how her county inspector would be. So he was a red-faced man and he would always carry a box which is full of tools and wires. And he came, the moment he saw Margie, he patted her on her head and said nothing is going to happen, everything is going to go smoothly. So as he patted and gave her an apple, he went and saw the mechanical teacher and took it apart. Apart means just dismantling it to check what is the problem. So he was going through the problem, he was checking every part, and after 1 hour he came out saying that everything is good and it is being corrected, there is no problem in that. Now the problem was the geography sector was geared up little bit. So that is why she couldn't get pass mark in any of her tests. So now there is no problem. Margie's performance has been very good and she's been performing very well in her test. So Margie's mother was now really satisfied with the performance. So and he also said these things sometimes happens. But Margie was not happy with this. Even after the mechanical teacher was set right, she was not happy. So she thought like they would take the mechanical teacher away to their place and second right, repair it and again bring it after some time. Because even Tommy had this kind of problem where his history sector was not working, so they took this mechanical teacher away and for a month he did not have any schooling. So Margie was thinking even I would be like that free for a month, but to her disappointment they got it, the mechanical teacher right, so she was feeling really disappointed with that. So that is why she always had a frustration about schools. So that is why she asked Tommy, how could or why would anyone write about schools? Why is there a lot of things to write about? Why is there they are writing about schools? So Tommy's mom gave it the answer. See, it is not the schools that we think or we have. And it is not the kind of teacher that we are having, they had. They had a real human as a teacher. So Margie is very shocked and she asks, how could a human be a teacher? They don't do things, everything correctly. And how she was arguing with Tommy. How could a human be a teacher? I will not allow anyone, like any unknown person inside my house, to be my teacher. How could anyone, a human, be a teacher? So with this repeated question, so Tommy got irritated and he said, you know, the schools in those days were not like how we had. Now all the boys and girls had to go to a separate place to learn. So they all learned together. They all learned the same thing. And the human was a teacher. And they had a special building for it. And that is called a school. And the teacher would not come and stay in the house of the student. They had a separate place So I just wanted to know more about. So that is why I was wondering what would happen. So as she was saying this, she suddenly heard her mother saying that Margie, it's time for school. And Margie's mother, Mrs. Doe, she also says, Tommy, it's also time up for you. Now you have to go for your school. So get ready for your school. So both they go to their school room, and in the schoolroom, already the mechanical teacher was waiting for Margie. We all know about classroom, but here in this story, there is a new word, schoolroom, which means that the whole school is being put up in a single room, and that room is just inside their house. So all the things that they have to learn in a school will be taught in that particular school, and they did not have anyone or any friends. All will be taught by this mechanical teacher, that is a robot, and it will be just keeping on teaching the student or the child who was there in that room. So it was beside their bedroom, and right at that time, every day at the same time, the mechanical teacher would start taking classes except on Saturdays and Sundays. So so imagine you need not go outside, just sitting inside the house and just beside your bedroom. You have a separate room for studying, and that is where you learn with no one around you. So this was how for her the world was. And when she learned came to know about these schools from Tommy, she was really wondering, and her mind only those thoughts were going up. And she was really bored every day, the same mechanical teacher standing before me and no one talking with me. And the mechanical teacher, as soon as Margie came, started taking its lesson. It had a black box in the middle, where black screen in the middle, where the lessons would be just going around in that block. So it said today it started taking without knowing whether Margie was listening to the class or not. It was continuously taking the class. So today's arithmetic lesson is on addition of proper fractions. So that was a topic that it started to take, and the mechanical teacher was taking its lessons. He did not know whether Margie was attentive or Margie was listening or how Margie was in the class. He did not care anything about that because it is a machine. And Margie's thoughts was fully about the old schools. She was only thinking about the old schools, how joy, how excited it will be when all we get together with our friends and going to the school to a separate place other than home, and playing there together and chatting there with our friends and talking different things and meeting different people over there, and it will be really a fun to come back home with our friend, have discussing the whole things or discussing our studies or homework. So it would be really a fun time. But now it is all put up inside the four walls, and we have human and the teachers were people. So she was wondering, really, we would have someone who would sit with us and talk with us, and they would make us understand whether we understood the lessons or not. So they would come and chat with us also, because the teachers were humans. So they would know what is happening in the class, but the mechanical teacher didn't know. It was just computerized, so programmed just to take the classes. So all these thoughts were moving around in the Margie's mind. So that is what, as we all had experienced during the lockdown times, we had classes. We had school classes conducted where we would sit in just front of us computers, and the teachers would take classes. Even then, we did not know whether we understood. So we were not able to completely understand the content. So this is the problem of the technology. So technology can be used as only to make our work easier, but it cannot be completely taken up. That's why we have a wonderful quote by Bill Gates saying, technology is just a tool. But if you want the kids working